How's
May
it going,
you
everybody?
always have a
Welcome
vote.
to another episode of Let's Try. So today's game we're looking at is Helldivers 2. So it recently just came out. We'll be playing with one of my buddies, and if you haven't seen Helldivers before, it is essentially a game that is, well, kill a bunch of bugs or robots, or really whatever the enemy type is. Um, its progression system is a little bit weird. So as you can see, you get medals that you use to unlock certain tiers um, of items, both cosmetic slash functional. It's kind of a weird mash of things. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of pages of things, and you have to spend so many medals before you can get to the next tier. And I really like this armor at the end, so I'm kind of excited to eventually, hopefully, get to here. But what I will say about this game, I'm not a fan. Like, on one hand, I like that, you know, you have to slowly progress to get the better weapons. That totally makes sense to me. But what I don't like is that it kind of feels like some of the weapons, because, like, as you saw, there was a weapon all the way on that last page. It kind of feel a little bit gate-kept, but, yeah, you know, I'll have to play more of this to kind of get a feel for it. So you can change your primary and your secondary. So you have a primary weapon, a sidearm, and then some sort of grenade. Now, I had just unlocked the marksman rifle. Amazing weapon. I really enjoy it. The secondary I got, also really enjoy it. Now, there's also armor you can have. So I have, right now, I have heavy armor, and as you can see, there's medium armor. Now, there's not a difference in the medium armors other than look, I believe. So it really kind of totes the line between function and form, right? You can have a medium armor that looks good, but also just a medium armor. Another component of this game, before we get into the actual mission, is so you have a ship, a destroyer of sorts. And you have essentially abilities that you can call in every so often called stratagems. They're essentially just different things you can use to help your survival and help your squad survive. Now, they kind of tried to theme them a little bit, and tie them to things. So as you can see, there's a lot of different customization. If you want to go more hands-on, right, you can of course get kind of the better weapons of sort, kind of these higher tier, more powerful weapons. They also of course have what are essentially ballistic missiles, which are really, really cool. They also have other more defensive things, which, I don't know, I'm kind of drawn more towards those defensive structures. This game looks amazing. I believe it's a port from PlayStation, and it's just all around a pretty solid game. The only problem as of right now, at the time of recording this and editing it, is there have been server issues of getting into the server due to server capacity. But I think pretty much most games, especially smaller games, have had those problems. I don't really know how large their dev team is, or how large their like scaling is. I want to say right now they have a capacity of 350 or 360,000 players. However, I will note what they have done. I don't know if it's a bug or a feature. If you're EA, it's a feature. And let's face it, as a software engineer, if it's a bug that adds some sort of functionality, it's a function, whether it was a bug or not. If your friend or somebody you're playing with gets in, like my friend did, Brandon, he got in. I, however, was not. I was stuck in queue, and of course my game was like, oh, well, we're going to try again in 3 seconds. If they get in and they invite you, you can basically skip the line, which is a little bit unfair because people have been complaining about what people are doing, where they essentially leave their PC on in game, because I don't think there is an AFK kick mechanic right now to basically boot you back to the home screen. I'm sure they will they're either going to do one of two things. I think they're probably either gonna add that as a feature so that players can't sit AFK and basically hold their spot in line, or they're just going to remove the ability to join your friend like that. I think they should keep that ability, at least right now, and just remove the ability to stay AFK on your ship. I think you should just be booted back to this home screen and then go back in, but I digress. As you can see, what's really cool is, so he's right now picking out our mission between the two factions, the Terminids and the Automatrons, which are essentially robots or bugs. I'm a big destroy the bugs. However, occasionally you get that itch, especially anytime a new Terminator comes out, of just, you really want to fuck up some robots. Pardon my French. But it's just,
the war rages on.
It's amazing. Honestly, games like this that give you some power and give you a lot of an enemy to shoot at just feels so good. Now what's really cool is this is a war map, so it's not like we have to do all this ourselves. No, the entire community is essentially contributing to the quote-unquote defense and liberation of a planet. Now there are several bugs currently with this. So that percentage of how much a sector is liberated up there at the top, that
seek to turn this planet into another gelatinous
goes up.
Do not let them
When you
succeed.
complete a mission, it shows that percentage, and we'll see that a little bit later on. However, it doesn't really go up on an individual level, but as a community, you can see that it's going up. Now, I don't know if that's due to with how the servers are synced, or if somewhere something just isn't quite right.
Jump successful.
Maybe it's working perfectly fine, but I, as a player, would like to see that percentage change at the end for sure. My contribution, because on one hand, it's a little bit demoralizing not to see it change. Like, oh wow, my mission didn't really help, but on the other hand, it's like, who cares? I'm just here for the loot, here to kill some bugs. I will say this game has an amazing like launch entry music. I could honestly play this game just like re-entering missions like that forever. So as you can see, we're currently, this is the map or the mission we've chosen, so that was the map, and so the host gets to pick where you roughly land, and then as you can see, you can bring different kit of things. So there's some default ones you get, and then there's also kind of the specialized ones, so you can really decide with your team. It's just right now me and Brandon doing. And so here's some of that music that just perfect. Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure we're basically being shot out of a bullet, or we are in a bullet. Essentially, we're in drop pods coming to the surface. And so, what's really cool about this game is it has the sprinkling of progression. It has the sprinkling of some missions and some stuff like that. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think a lot of players are drawn to this just because any sort of horde survival. I use survival in this term very loosely. I would say it's a horde slaughter, a horde massacre game, right? Because it's just, it's so good. It's tantalizing. It's really fun. Now, we're playing on medium just because it's just me and him, and just for the video, I didn't want to just be dying a whole lot, although that will happen. And a little bit of foreshadowing, the bugs weren't the one who killed me. Well, there is friendly fire, so it is important to note you don't want to be hitting your teammates, and you also don't want to be anywhere near any of your explosives or anything like that. Now, there are a lot of things that are kind of going on, even though it doesn't look like there's much going on right now. There are no bugs right now, because we just spawned in. Brandon was messing with his key bindings. But I was just messing around. So from what I found, there's no first person, but you can switch to a scoped view of your weapons. I believe it was middle mouse click, in case anybody was wondering. So the thing right behind me that had that button, it takes 2 players to open, and essentially it's like a little cache. So it might have some, as you can see on the outside, there's some ammo, there's some weapon, like grenades, and sometimes on the inside of these little bunkers, there's maybe like a little bit of a special weapon, so like one of those weapons that we saw that we could call as a drop down. And there's also other things called samples. Those samples are what we use to add different facilities / upgrade our existing facilities on our destroyer or our ship that is up in space. And then that allows us to get better stratagems. And as you can see, there's some bugs, so it does take a second to open. But I will say one thing I don't like. I know it is supposed to be realistic, right? So if you take out a magazine and you reload, well, everybody else in the magazine away. Look out. Should have been essentially thrown away, and that makes sense, right? You took the magazine out. If you had 10 bullets left, well, those bullets aren't just going to magically go back in your inventory. And that's the way it works in this. So if you reload at half a magazine, that half a magazine that you had left disappears. It's gone. So definitely don't be... This isn't the game to press R after you shoot one shot, although it is a little bit hard to kind of break that habit, because I think many players from many genres and just many different games have kind of built that as a habit. I know I have. So when I first played, I want to say the first match of this, I was like, oh, hey, don't reload unless you like are out of ammo, because you will lose ammo. The only time that I will reload, if I still have some ammo left, is if I know I'm about to be in a big encounter and I need a full magazine. If I have like a third or less, I'll be like, okay, I'll waste the third. At least if I have a lot of extra. If I have like 1 or 2 magazines left, nope, I am keeping every bullet and making every bullet count. One thing to note is with the heavy armor, I am a little bit slower, so I can't move as quickly as Brandon. I believe Brandon's rocking medium armor right now, a shotgun, which people have said aren't great in this, but I don't know. I think they're okay. I think people are just used to guns being really strong, or shotguns in other genres being just don't click delete. And that just isn't the case in this. So some bugs that is the case, but others are more of a point click, they're deleted. So this time, as you can see, even with the bug I'm currently shooting out here, a marksman's rifle, it takes a second. Now, I will say, I like the feature that you have to kind of do up, down, left, right, side, kind of like the D-pad. You can definitely tell it's because of D-pad, the stratagems are the way they are, but I actually like that they kept them. Even on PC. Now, I know it's probably they just thought of the key bindings because it goes to PC, but I really like, even if it wasn't intentional, it feels nice. It feels like one of those, like, kind of Easter egg, like an unintentional Easter egg to a retro, like, game sheet. I don't know. I like it. But it is, in the heat of battle, it is a bit tedious because you do have to kind of look at the code. I think eventually you will probably get the muscle memory to know what the codes are, because I don't think they change. I think they're unique to the stratagem. You have healing. So in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see your teammate stats, and you can also see their health. I believe you can heal other players, and I want to say you can also get ammo from them if they have the support pad. Because I think Brandon has it in this, because I know I got ammo from him earlier. So there are micro objectives. So one of the micro objectives we're working towards clearing is a bug. So some bugs have some different abilities, and honestly, there's a lot of variety when it comes to the bug types, so it doesn't feel like it's very stale. Now, I will say I haven't played a ton of hours yet, so I haven't poured days upon weeks into this, so I don't really know how stale the game can get. But I will say, honestly, a game like this, if I'm playing it for fun, right, just playing it for the matches, just to throw on some nice music, or really getting into the heat of it with some buddies, I think this game you can play all night long and have an amazing time. Now, if you're playing it to get the best of the best gear and really just trying to grind out to become the top player, I think it could get a little bit grindy and a little bit tedious, because I have seen some people say that the current online situation, if you're not playing with a group of friends, or in terms of matchmaking, comes down to matchmaking takes a little while, so that is a little bit of a con if you don't have a group of friends. And that occasionally people will basically go launch a mission, get some easy medals, and leave, or they'll just do some things. Now, we haven't played everything there is to play on this, so there's still a lot of different mission types we have yet to experience, but there's also a lot of little side missions, which is nice. It helps make it so every level isn't the same, so if you want to just grind out the main objectives, you can, by all means, or if you want to make it a little bit more immersive, you complete one, kind of all of the objectives that you can get. As you can see, we secured this little area, we got some points, so it's really nice. And what's also nice is it tells you the potential earnings for the level, essentially, so it tells you how much you could have earned those XP. I want to say it might have just been credits. You can also see in the top right hand corner there's a 3, which indicates the difficulty. I believe the difficulty goes all the way up to 9, which is in, I want to say they call it impossible or Helldiver. I don't really remember. I want to say we looked at it earlier when we were selecting the mission, but regardless, really excited to eventually unlock it. You do have to go through all the levels, so you can't, I don't think you can just skip to the top one, but overall it feels very good, because it feels like the type of game where you're not really sitting back and attacking a horde. Because I want to say World War Z, the zombie game, that is one where you more or less sit like at an objective of sorts, and basically the zombies come to you. This is more of one where you're actively going out of your way to seek out both robots and the insects. Now, it is important to note, we are only going to be looking at the insects today in this mission. We did get a chance to play robots. Now, also on the top right is a timer. Now, we have 40 minutes to complete as much of this objective as we can, and after 40 minutes, basically we have to extract our warship up in the sky that provides all our stratagems. We leave, and we will no longer fly the system. So it is a nice little mechanic, so you can't stay on a level of and basically the goal is to extract. So even after you complete the mission, whatever that main objective is, you still have to get off the planet to essentially fully extract. And you do get, I believe, some extra bonus points. You can also see what the objective is currently. Is activate some pumps. That's the primary objective. And then underneath that, destroy the road. That is the area we're currently in. So this little complex is that. I don't think we ended up destroying it because I don't know if we had anything to destroy that. Regardless, we're still pretty good.
Last reload.
Now, as you can see, you do seem to run out of ammo a little bit, but it could also just be I'm not the best shot, and so most of my bullets are going into not bugs, or they're going into dead bugs. Comparing this to Starship Troopers Extermination, which is a really good game, and we did do a Let's Try on, so if you haven't already, go check that video out as well, just to kind of see a little bit of a different style of kind of the horde-based defense genre. That game, Star Troopers, is a lot more defensive in that you have a base that you defend. I know they've recently added a new game mode to go into the tunnels to find the bugs. However, I believe that's only a 4-player experience. I don't think it's the full 16. I also know currently Starship Troopers, they are reworking the class system for that. So if you have been following that game at all, or are interested in just another type of kind of horde shooter, because I will say Starship Troopers is probably a little bit lesser known unless you've either seen the movies or just really interested in this type of game. Definitely go check it out. It's a really cool game. And then even this game is really good for what it is. It is only 4 players max for co-op, but I think that's honestly plenty. Just because the stratagems really make it feel good. They are on cooldowns, so once you use one, you've probably seen, they go on cooldown for, I think, like a minute or 2, which is fair, because some of them are pretty powerful, especially the turrets and whatnot. I don't think having them constantly down would be too good. It was a bit annoying, so I was trying to get this tower to move. I had to keep telling him if he was in the zone. So these little objectives are really cool because they're devices to be enough to give you something different than just shooting bugs, trying not to die. It's like, okay, we have a little side objective, and this side objective actually provides functionality. So by completing it, we're then able to see everything on the map. It's essentially providing us with radar. Now, as you can see, there's I think it's like a sandstorm or something, but it heavily reduces visibility. And so there's our little map. We can see that we kind of where we're looking and can see some different things. So it's really beneficial. Now, these matches can take 40 minutes. If you really draw them out, they can take 40 minutes. Otherwise, you can go and continue the main objective, do it, leave, main objective, do it, leave, right? So definitely, you can either make the matches take as long as you want, right? You can either make them take the full 40 or make them just take a little bit. What's kind of cool is there's a little bit of, I don't really want to say it's lore, but there's just little tidbits of information around the map like this, where it's just case of democracy drills, right? So nothing super impactful, but it's just interesting because I think it gives a little bit of
That's empty.
that you kind of see. Now, as you can see, I really like the first person when I'm zoomed in. I like the third person for running around and kind of figuring out, but I like this for when I'm like scoping the village, trying to take on the whole of the bugs and spread them out. I will say that this game gives me 40k vibes, Warhammer 40k, in that
Requesting fortifications.
you're a Helldiver, you're spreading democracy, super Earth, right? And so I get those vibes, and I think a lot of people will too. It's not quite as dark as 40k is, but it has those elements, I'd say. Just kind of the inkling, like the sprinkle on top. Overall, it can get really hectic. The other night, we were playing. That was one of the deaths I mentioned earlier, not being a bug. Note to everyone, the landmine defense stratagem, kind of okay. However, I have discovered it is a really good tool for not killing the bugs. It will kill the bugs, but I think I have killed myself and other Helldivers more than I have killed the bugs. So keep that in mind if you do decide to unlock it. It is very destructive. Even though it is a defensive stratagem, probably you want to throw it further away than you would expect from your team. Anyway, so I was playing with a couple of my friends, Brandon including a couple of, I want to say 2 friends. We were all playing some Helldivers on, I think, difficulty 5. It was very hectic. The difficulty essentially just adds a lot more bugs, or a lot more of the enemy types in a lot tougher environments. So you're not... This is only on 3, and it's pretty sparse for just 2 people. We manage fairly well. I think with just 2 of us, we could probably do... We might be able to do up to 5, just the 2 of us. I don't... Probably not. I'm quite terrible at these types of games. They're fun. They're very fun.
Got a sample.
In the amount of bugs, because we were playing a bug mission, they were massive. So you've probably, if anybody has seen any of the trailers for this game, there are very massive like enemy types that do exist. So you don't have to worry about, oh it's just the little bugs. Oh, it's just little robots. That doesn't seem that cool. No. There are much larger creatures. I want to say there's creatures that are specifically, I don't know if they're locked to the zone / planet / mission, or if they're purely locked to the difficulty. From what it seems, I think it's the difficulty. So I think the higher difficulty you go, the bigger, badder, meaner enemies you're going to find, which is cool. I like that going up has that additional reward, and it's not just, oh, you have more health. Oh, you're just more tanky. No. It is literally, you are getting quantity. We are going to we're not going to throw an enemy at you that takes 30 million bullets to kill. No. We're going to throw 30 million enemies at you. that sure might only take a bullet to kill, but we're gonna throw 30 million at you, and just for, you know, good measure, we're gonna throw 1 or 2 that take 20 million bullets to kill, right? And that's not to say any of the enemies are bullet sponges. They're not. They don't feel that way. They definitely feel as
I'm
though...
on the terminal.
I think they've striked a nice balance, so it's... You get enemies who, yeah, are very squishy, but you also get enemies who are like, okay, that is clearly a tougher enemy, and you can see it. So it's not just, oh, you're just a tanky enemy with more health. Which is nice, because it makes it so the game doesn't feel like games like Division 2, where enemies just got more health. And that was it. You just had more hit points. There was nothing special. You just had more hit points. I hate to dog on games like The Division, but let's face it, that's just the case. Although I enjoyed the story. I thought it was an okay story. This game does have nice objectives. Now again, we're only on level or difficulty 3. So there's not really any bugs attacking us right now. We can pretty much do this objective freely. However, at higher difficulties, this place would swarm. We probably would be up to our neck in bug carcass. So of course we get the main objective completed, we get 100 XP, we get 500 little tokens, and you can see that up on the top right. We can also see how many green little samples there are on the map. So there's up to 19. So if you're really pushing, because you need those to get the different rooms, definitely drawing it out, and I say drawing it out, but definitely doing every little side objective and really scouting the map to get everything done makes it worthwhile. Now, I don't know what the optimal farming is, so definitely if you guys want to see any sort of future content in terms of best way to do something, or a specific loadout, or how good is something, or anything like that, definitely if you want to see more content from this game, let me know down below, and of course I will see what I can make happen. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns about anything we've seen today in today's video, or anything about this game, I will do my best to try to answer it down below. No guarantee I'll have the answer, but I will tell you I will try to find the answer for you if I am able to provide it. Something I always tell people, if you don't know the answer, I will find it for you, or I will try to find someone who knows it better than I. As always, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Let's Try, and of course, I ended up getting shot by my own turret. Don't walk in front of your turrets as they're firing. That was completely accidental. I didn't realize that. I should have known better because they were friendly firing. But anyway, as always, if you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you did, you guys know to smash that like button if you haven't already. Consider subscribing, that helps out the channel. And we already said our comment, questions, or concerns. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.
Requesting advanced weaponry.
Peace out.
For prosperity! Mag's empty.
Pelican 1 approaching pickup. This is Pelican 1, preparing for touchdown. Democracy! Hello to democracy! Pelican 1 preparing to depart. Shuttle launch in 20 seconds. Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
Another victory for the right side of history.